it's very funny because we talk a lot, Rick, about federal politics. That's what always tends to get like some headlines.
Yeah.
But the reality is that federal politics is the least intrusive in our lives.
Impactful.
That's right. Unless, of course, it's 2035 and you want to go buy a Chevy. But the reality is provincial politics that's healthcare.
Healthcare.
Infrastructure, education. I mean, that's almost everything in everybody's lives, right? And of course, when we get to municipal, then we're talking about a garbage pickup and police and fire and all that kind of stuff. But this is something that you and everybody in that legislature thinks about every day. The most important things, education and health. And it's something I'm sure over the past year, your constituents, which I am one, I live in your riding.
Absolutely.
Talk to you about all the time. What's happening with I can't get a dog. I can't. So let's go to that. Question number one.
Sure.
Why is it not the goal of Premier Ford and the Minister of Health, Sylvia Jones, to make sure that every man, woman, and child in this province have a primary care provider?
It is the goal. It is absolutely the goal. And we've actually done really well, or better than we have. I'll put it that way. At one point we were down into like 20% people didn't have primary care. We're actually, that number is now down to about 10%. We've upped to 90 is the other way of looking at that. And I think it's realistic to say we'll never hit 100, but we should strive for 100. Absolutely.
But there's still 10,000 people here in our area without a doctor.
Absolutely. And the process towards fixing that is creating more doctors, creating more nurses, and that is an educational process that should have started 20 years ago. We as a government over the last 5 years have started new schools. We're paying for nurses to go to school. We're paying for PSWs to go to school. We're trying to make sure that we have that human resource available for the next generation. Again, it should have started 20 years ago, but it has started now.
Okay. Why, Todd, listen, you're into politics as a minister. You sit around that ministerial, table on a regular basis, but you've also been fairly worldly now in your position as Minister of Energy. I like to see.
Look at the scarf.
I want to see the receipts. No, but
they're coming.
In all seriousness, why the heck can't we do it? Why do politicians only look 2 years? Why do governments only look 2 years to the election cycle and not think, man, we're going to have this massive cohort of baby boomers who are going to require so much health care?
Yeah.
And we haven't. But it was obvious to them. I'm sure somebody told Bill Davis that, hey, listen, in the early 2000s, this is going to become a real problem. What do you want to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That was a great question in 2016, Lauren, and 2017. Why weren't we looking out to the future? And we are looking out to the future now, as Rick talked about, investing in medical spaces for doctors to be trained. We had a cap in place prior to us becoming government. We now have standalone nursing schools at Loyalist College, and we actually have increased the scope of practice for pharmacists to help, with the load on emergency rooms and on family physicians and primary care physicians, where they can now treat 19 different ailments at the pharmacy. We are bringing in foreign-trained doctors that when they meet the credentials that have been set out, they can come in and start to practice here. So all of those things are happening. And the other thing I just wanted to point out before I forget and my phone goes dead is, we've invested too in the next sort of, accessible form of healthcare. And it's a new resource to the area. And I don't know if there's been enough attention put on this, but there's a virtual care Ontario now that people can go to if they can't get out to the pharmacy or they can't access their nurse practitioner or their doctor, and it's virtualcareontario.ca. It's open 7 days a week between 1 and 9 p.m., and you can also get referrals and prescriptions there.